just putting together a update on the quarantine system. I think it was last week I ordered the one of the Jebao. I think the box is around here somewhere. I thought, well, actually it's in the house. Anyway, I ordered the one of the Jebao WP-25s for my quarantine system. So I wanted to try it out, and I already have Vortec MP40s on both the 125 and the 210. So I wanted to try out this power head because it was, I mean, extremely cheap, extremely inexpensive, and you know, read a lot of great reviews, of course, on it. And some people, you know, have had some troubles with it as well, but for the price, I mean, you can't beat it. I mean, essentially, you can see beside it, the first one obviously is the Jebao power head. Behind it is a 1050 Coralia. You can actually see the size difference as well, and I'd say that Jebao is probably way better, and much more flow is going to come out of that thing. So anyway, I just mounted the controller right here. I haven't gone through all the options. I'm actually doing the wave mode, which is a pretty good wave you actually can see up there. I figured I would go with this power head because obviously it helps, you know, from things settling on the bottom and that kind of stuff, but also for fish that really like flow, like these Moorish Idols. As you can see that they're still hanging around. They're here. And let's see, I think it's day, I'm thinking we're approaching maybe 21 days, 20 days, something like that. I'll have to go back and actually, I'll post it in the video details in the comments. I'll post how many days exactly it is, but I think we're somewhere around 21 days that these Moorish Idols have been there. You actually see their streamers are growing back. This one here is hanging in the corner. I come to find out, you know, I bought 2 of them because much of what I read, even in some of the magazines that I've actually read, suggested that they do better in pairs or 3, you know, 2, 3 or more or whatever, rather than singly. And the bigger one's actually been picking on the smaller one. However, he seems to be doing fine. You know, I actually considered putting in. I got a basket that I sometimes have to, when I have to separate fish, or even if I'm acclimating an enemy or something in the 125, I have it's a 12 by 8 basket, and I thought about bringing that out here, and I actually may get one just for my quarantine system, so I can actually still have fish in here together, but separate them with, especially the ones that bully. I actually moved the Desjardins because it got a little bit irritating down here. I moved them up in the top in the 10-gallon, and you can see them up there. But anyway, the Moorish Idols are doing great. Like I said, I mean, feeding them, they actually, you can see their long streamers are back. That's pretty typical for those to get damaged in shipping and catching and that kind of stuff. So I just did a 5-gallon water change on this, and which I think the last one I did was, I don't know, maybe close to 2 weeks ago. And just because I have more fish in here, I'm doing a little more often than I typically would do. And I've also been feeding these Moorish Idols a little bit more often too, just because they're finicky fish, and I want to, you know, get them as healthy as possible, especially while they're in quarantine. So I've been doing that. Typically in quarantine, I don't feed fish every day. Usually every other day. Obviously, it's a smaller body of water. It really depends on the fish. I mean, it really depends on the type of fish. If I know it's something that has a high metabolism, and you know, losing weight is an issue, then I'll feed more than that. But typically, the vast majority of fish that actually come in only get fed every other day. So, but anyway, they're doing well. As far as the Moorish Idols goes, it was actually more of a video on the power head, but these Moorish Idols are doing really well. Looks like you found some pellets there. But anyway, either he crapped, one or the other. So Anyway, but they're doing really well, which is a good thing. Like I said, other than the larger one bullying the smaller one, which this guy's kind of found that, besides feeding, I think he likes to hang out in this corner the most. So, but anyway, back to the power head. I mean, so far, I mean, I like the flow that I'm getting. I mean, that's a lot of turbulence. It's on wave mode, as you can see. I mean, for the price, I mean, I think I paid like $66 shipped. I mean, that's cheap. So, I mean, I know that like those old Coralia, like the 1400 retails were somewhere around that. And I think at one point I had 1400s. I think I actually have a couple of 1400s somewhere. I don't know where they're at. But anyway, actually that could be a 1400. I think it's a 1050, but I do have a few 1400. I think I have two 1400s and a number of, I don't know, maybe 3, 4, 5 1050s laying around. I could probably sell them, but I'm not sure exactly how much you would get today for them with all the competition of power heads out, especially with these. I can tell you this, is that I don't really know why people will even buy the Tunsies today with these type of power heads. I mean, these, I don't care who makes them, Chinese, Japanese, whatever. I mean, these to my opinion, because of the features and the functions that the controller is able to do, the Tunsies, in my opinion, really don't. I mean, I've never had any Tunsies, but I know that a lot of people compare them to the Tunsies. But I really don't know why you would get the Tunsi over these Jebao power heads. So I mean, it obviously has a lot of different features on it. I'm actually going to come in and I got some cable ties. I'm going to start tying up some of my stuff here. So, but it's got a lot of different functions on it. I might actually go through it. I've seen a couple of videos, people going through the different functions as well. One guy did a pretty good review comparing the Jebao to let's see, MP10, and that was a pretty good video. And I think I actually watched that before I don't know if it was before I actually purchased this power head or after, but yeah, you can actually see the top there. I mean, that's a lot of water that's being moved. This is a 40 breeder, if you've already looked at some of my other videos, but a lot of water movement. That's a good thing, especially for fish that like it. So it also helps keep the keep stuff off from settling on the bottom. And you know, food goes to the bottom, it moves it around, and they like the stuff that moves. Fish like stuff that moves rather than just sitting there, and typically it's because they notice it better than if it's just sitting. So, but anyway, I've only had it set up here for an hour maybe, and so I'm pretty happy with it. And it's just for this purpose, just to be in here. I don't plan to put them in my other tanks. I have 3 MP40s, the Eco Smart versions on the 210. One on the back and one on each side. And then on the 125 I have 2, one on each side, and I'm thinking about actually adding one to the back. But I actually was thinking maybe I might just buy one of these and put it on the back of that, which I would have to give some more thought into that, whether I would do that, because obviously it doesn't sync with the other power heads. So, but actually I don't have I may do it in the 125 if I had another MP40, but currently my 210, I don't have the back one sank with the other two, just because I don't want the same amount of flow. And when the power head's shooting from the back to the front, I have a number of LPS and soft coral in the front bottom that I don't want blown so hard, and so I keep the back one MP40 on the 210 just on its own mode, and I think it's only turned up maybe a little bit less than half, and the two sides on the 210 actually are turned up probably almost all the way, and so it's pretty good in that tank though. So which I have videos of the 210 as well. You can actually see if you look at the other videos. The Moorish Idol there, Moorish Idol there. But other than that, I'm actually thinking about, not so sure yet, but I'm thinking about actually putting a skimmer on here. I have a Core Life 125 that really doesn't go on here well. I thought about putting on, and it's just too many micro bubbles, which I don't really care about that in a quarantine tank. You can't really see that thing, but anyway, it's down there. It's a 125 that used to be on my 92, and there's one over there that's on the invert system. I mean, well, invert, coral, etc. That's the 65 or something. But anyway, it's way too big, and one of the other things is, you know, I mean, stuff don't stand here, I mean, a super long time. I mean, but you know, I thought about, you know, adding a couple of different hang on back type protein skimmers, and you know, I've done some reading as far as cupramine goes, and Seacom actually has made a statement that I read that said that the protein skimmer may actually skim out the cupramine. I don't think there's ever been any issues with Prozipro being removed, but they actually say that Seacom may be removed. The thing about it, though, I actually have their Seacom's test kit for copper, which is actually pretty good. I found it to be, all the ones that I've actually used, I found it to be probably the most accurate. And I use it, I'd say I test, I don't know, maybe once every 1 to 2 weeks or something like that. So it's Seacom's multi-test copper. I think it's like, I don't know, $18 or something. But works out pretty well, and it's pretty easy to read, and pretty which easy to read makes it, you know, accuracy that much better. So, but anyway, I can take out back to the power head. I'm going to take out probably that Coralia. It's like half the size. It seriously almost, I mean, it seriously looks half the size versus the Coralia there. So that's a little more room, and you know, which is a good thing. So any more space that you can allow in the quarantine system or in your setup period is a good thing for your fish, because they love space. So, but especially ones like these Moorish Idols that love to swim in and out of things, but also like high turbulence and a lot of swimming room. So, but anyway, the Moorish Idols are doing great. Just an update here on the quarantine system. I probably have more stuff on this quarantine system than some people have on their own, or on their display tanks. So, but the nice thing is, you know, I do that because I want a healthy system. Like I said again, I want a system that stays up all the time. So anything that does come in, you know, can go right in, and it's a good situation. But also I like to, you know, like I said, I've got the Reef Keeper light that monitors and a number of things, and I've got the net module on it, and this is outside. If you haven't watched this video yet, or the other videos I have, this is outside, so I can actually keep tabs on it in the house. I can turn stuff on and off as I want, and you know, like I said, just keep up with things. So, and you know, I get a notification, you know, via email with you know, certain issues and anything that goes on with this. Same kind of setup I have for my display tanks in the house as well. So, but anyway, I mean, I'm pretty pleased, even though it's only been about an hour. I'm pretty pleased with the power head and the change here. And the only other thing that, like I said, I might end up adding is potentially a small protein skimmer. And I can't think of really anything else that I would want to add to this. I may actually, that lighting no longer works. Well, it came on the other day, and it's due to water. Water, got in it in some manner. But I may actually get rid of this fixture on top of this and get something else that looks better. Even though I don't need it, but I don't particularly like the Kelvin rating that that this bulb lets out. The old bulb, I don't know what kind of bulb that was on these old cheapo fixtures. I don't know if they're T8s or what, but definitely not T5. Anyway, it's a much bluer white than this yellow bulb here, and actually the fish look better. So, at least if you got it in quarantine, it's nice to be to be able to somewhat enjoy them. So, I may actually add a little LED fixture, or I don't know, something. But I had used that one for this one here for a long time. It came free with this 40 breeder when I originally bought it a long time ago, and it never got used. And it didn't get used until it was on here. And, since it's been on here, water's gotten in it and whatever else. So it works sometimes, and then sometimes it doesn't. And so I just don't even mess with it. So it just props my stuff. It's just kind of like holds my stuff on top of it. It's basically what it is. So. But anyway, that's about it.